We're gonna do 15 of climbing's most obscure techniques, and they're gonna get more obscure as we move on, and we're gonna try and do it in less than 10 minutes. Number one is a guppy. So the principle of a guppy is you're gonna wrap the climbing hold in this part of your hand or in this part of your hand. It's also called a meat hook sometimes. Perfect example here is hold it straight on, but I'm gonna try and like wrap this part of my palm around the hold and use this to get up. Basically, it's a pretty good like energy saving technique because it uses a different part of your forearm. It's not gonna use your muscles here, it's more of like a palm grip. This yellow one looks exactly like it's set as a guppy, but the other way around. I probably need to warm up a bit more, but you can like guppy this way or guppy that way. It saves your fingers a bit. It's a pretty good way to get anything that's like a narrowing pinch, so you don't have to pinch it square on. Next up is the Egyptian, but basically this is just a drop knee. Right, here is an Egyptian. It's called this because you drop the hip a little bit like the Egyptian hieroglyphics. What the aim is it helps pull your hip into the wall, but can also bring you closer to the hold. So if I start over here, I want to go over there, drop this hip in. Let's find another one quickly. This is set really well, and it's a great example of a drop knee or an Egyptian that will really lock me into the wall, suck my hips in. I'll be pulling out on this hold of my foot. It's not going to necessarily make me reach further, but it's going to lock me into position. All right, next one is the moon kick, or it's probably more commonly called the pogo. Basically, this is called a moon kick because it looks like you're floating up in space, and it's often going to be used when you're extended and you can't swap feet, so you need to make momentum in the direction towards the handhold while swinging your leg towards it. You let that momentum of your leg carry you up to the next hold. For this next one, we're going to stay on the roof because it's a bat hang. So this is all about going feet first, and you're going to use your feet to help you get to the next hold. This can be a bit easier when you're like stuck in space in the roof. There's no footholds. Invert and go feet first. Shouldn't wear laces for today. Next one is a Thumbdercut, and I've actually seen this set already, so we're going to go find a set Thumbdercut. So an undercut move is when you're got an upside down hold and you're holding it like this, but when it's above your head and your wrists don't have the flexion to get there, we use our thumbs, and the aim here is that you're trying to pull your thumbs away from the wall to keep your hips in. Thumbs away, hips in. With holds like this, you're always trying to get the friction to bring your hips in. You're not trying to push down because your thumbs will never be strong enough. You're just trying to like curl in and pull away from the wall with this. There's a good example of a finish over there where it's not directly upside down, but you can still use the thumbs to hold the position. Next up, we're doing the piano match, and for that we need to find some crimps. The idea behind a piano match is when you have one good hold and you want to swap to getting the other hand on it, but it's only big enough for 4 fingers, or there's only a good bit on the hold for 4 fingers. So what you're going to do is you're going to lift a finger up and place 3 on, and lift the middle finger up and place 4 on, and then take that hand off, and then you've got a good spot for your next hand. Right, this next one is called like a heel stomp. And it's probably something that you won't use in bouldering much, but it's something I learned in trad climbing when you need to get a lot of resting positions, and particularly no hands rest. You're going to do it on vertical or slabby terrain, and it's basically where you're going to rest on your heel. You're almost exclusively always told to use this part of your shoe when you're climbing because this gives you the most dexterity of movement. But when you want to rest, stomping your heel on a foothold takes all the pressure off your calf and allows you to rest your legs really importantly, particularly doing long slab routes. So it's super simple, not a complex technique, but it can save your calves and your leg pump when you're doing long sport climbs or long trad routes. This next one I've like literally never used, but I think I found a good one today. And this is like a hybrid between a chicken wing and a knee bar. It's called the knee arm bar. And basically you stack your leg with your arm to cover a bigger distance for what would be a knee bar. Oh yeah, there it is. It's not that restful, to be honest. If I was really pumped, I'd use it. It's quite hard on the core, but my forearms are not working. This next technique I'm calling the mount. Basically, it's where you try and get on top of a hold facing in. I've definitely done it before when you're set with like big volumes. There's often a set where you have to finish sat on a hold and like Thumbdercutting a finish. I don't think this is set for that. I think I kind of need to try and rock onto it, but I'll try and mount it anyways, see if we can make it work. We've not been able to do the mount, but one that is useful here, I'm going to call it the helping hand, is where you push your knee into a rock over. You give your knee a helping hand. Often this happens when you've not quite got the push or the pull strength in your leg to get your hips over. And so you push on your knee and literally rock over by using your hand. I can barely jump anymore, like this is really hard now. I think I scraped my nose. I'm absolutely exhausted trying to make this video in less than 10 minutes. Luckily, I need to say thank you to the wrong knee and mag dust, because the friction on my hands has not been an issue for this whole video despite me being covered in sweat. This is the best chalk that I've ever used, and it keeps my hands dry even in this ridiculously hot summer. If you watch a lot of this YouTube channel or YouTube climbing in general, you'll have probably heard of mag dust and the new blend Super Dry, and it's pretty hyped. It's probably the most hyped chalk at the minute, right? It's kind of everywhere, but there's a good reason for why we're all actually like really buying into using this as good chalk, because we do believe in good chalk being super important to our climbing. It's one of those things, once you start using good chalk, I really don't think you can go back and start using the poor quality stuff that, yes, is cheaper, but if climbing means a lot to you and you want to perform well, then good chalk is, I think, a really integral part in that. So if you want to take your climbing more seriously than some of the techniques in this video, get yourself some really good quality chalk using code Lattice for an extra 10% off at the checkout on the Rungy website. Link in the description below. In the bag. Hot one today. Next one is a chicken wing. Now this is basically an off-width climbing technique, but I'm using it here because I think it's the only off-width climbing technique I find I actually can use in normal climbing. We're going to head over to the comp wall because we need like big volumes for this one. The concept behind a chicken wing is you kind of like put your palm against one side and your shoulder or the back of your tricep against the other, and that kind of compression keeps you locked in. I'm clearly not very good at them, so go watch Pete Whitaker on the White Boys channel. I'm sure he's got a video of him showing about how to actually do a chicken wing well. Oh, nearly got my arm stuck in there then. Next up is the figure four. I've literally never been in a position where I think I needed to use this, because you basically need to start from a big hold and you're probably going to a pretty small hold, hence you want to slow it down and not just like campus or dyno to it. What you're going to do is you're going to loop your foot through your own arm and use your legs to leverage off your elbow to get higher and make the reach. The reason I think this just doesn't work, at least for most people, is I need to have like the one arm dead hang strength, put all my weight through whatever hold I'm figure fouring off of. So it would need to be, for me anyways, a really big hold. And you're just not going to find massive holds and then a really tiny hold on something that doesn't have any footholds as well. So it's just super obscure in my book. Right, the next one is really obscure, but if you find the right climb, pretty much everyone uses this technique. And this is the reverse mantle. The example of this is as a climb, I think it's 6A or 6B in Fontainebleau, which you have to start laying down and flip yourself over to sit on top of it. It's called the crocodile, I think. So someone's gonna have to send us some footage. We'll play that as B-roll. This next one is called the handcuff. This is something I've never used or seen done in this gym, but it is something I've seen done in competitions, and it's typically when route setters set like campus through moves on pockets where you can't match and there's no footholds, and what they do to stabilize the move halfway through is they grab their own wrist, applying the handcuff, use it to move through, and then make the next campus move. It just gives you a little bit more stability, but again, why it's really niche, this needs really specific context, and the hold needs to be really big and blocked off so that you can't match it. That works, I think. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to just do like a one arm pull up through it, and I was needed to untwist, so it does work in a specific situation. This next one is called the Houdini Match or the Ghost Match because it looks like magic. Basically, the context is similar to the previous one. You're only going to have one good handhold usually, and you can have feet on or no feet, and you're going to do like a kip or a pull up, and you're going to swap hands on it so that you can move on to the next handhold. Right, this next one's super obscure. Maybe it's just a myth and I'm misremembering. Start again. This next one I'm not sure is even going to work. It's the heel grab. I've seen this used on a climb called the Wheel of Life in Australia. I think it's in the Grampians, maybe that area is banned for climbing now. But it's this super long boulder problem. It was graded V15 or V16, but it's basically a 9A sport route which traversed this huge cave. And along the way, there were these resting positions where you could have your hands and your heels like on the lip of a cave. And I've seen them grab a heel and rest holding onto the heel. Like, it's your body part, it's in, it's not cheating, you can hold on to it. So if your heel is resting on a foothold and your heel is easier to hold on to than a handhold, and you could technically rest on your heel, that's the theory anyways. We'll try it and see if I can do it in a very easy situation. Oh, that's painful. That's definitely the most obscure technique I've ever seen. Maybe you have to find the right situation for it, but I don't know anyone that's ever gonna do that. That's it for obscure techniques, at least the ones that I know. But I want to know, do you have any weird, obscure techniques? Maybe you've only seen them once or used them once. Let me know in the comments below. And again, thank you to the sponsor of this video for keeping me that little bit less sweaty and still climbing through the summer months. If you want some decent chalk for the summer heat, head to the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.